What's up, guys? It's Amanda from amandahenley.com, and today I want to chat with you just a little bit about tracking your macros on a keto diet. I actually have a very intense love-hate relationship when it comes to tracking macros. I spent a good majority of my life tracking every single morsel of anything that touched my lips and then offsetting that with an amazing amount of exercise. And it was a very unhealthy balance for me. I spent my life just very unhappy in that way for a long time. It just really was not a good balance for me personally. I don't know what my dog's doing. Kaya, what are you doing? So, tracking macros on a keto diet can be super helpful. And once I started to think about making this switch, I knew it was something that I was gonna have to pay attention to. So I needed to switch my mindset just a little bit to wrap my head around getting into this type of eating. The first thing I'll say is that there are a million different ways for you to come up with your percentages when it comes to keto. Keto is historically a very high fat, a moderate protein, and low carb. So keto is a big buzzword right now, and there's a lot of misconceptions and misinformation when it comes to keto. Keto is not just a low carb diet. If you do not have the moderate protein and the high fat, that is really what makes keto different from a lot of other low carb plans. So it's super important to know that. It's super important to know what your percentages are for the best outcome for you and how you feel personally on each one. My first tip is to definitely find a keto calculator. There are multiple sites that will do this for free online. Just search keto macro calculator and I'm sure you'll be able to find one. My favorite app that I use to track my macros is called Carb Manager. And I love that Carb Manager does all that math for me, so I don't have to go and find it somewhere else. And I'm gonna show you a little bit later in this video what that looks like and how it works. My second tip for counting your macros on keto is to put in what you already know you're gonna eat in the day. It does not have to be a real-time entry. So for me, I know I'm gonna have bulletproof coffee in the morning. I know I'm gonna have that every single morning. It's the first thing that goes into my tracker every single day. But because I do intermittent fasting, I don't eat again until almost noon. And I already know what I'm gonna have for dinner because I'm a mom and I have to plan those type of things. I've got to get meat out to thaw. I have to make sure that I have the stuff. So I already know what I'm gonna have for dinner. Why would I not just put that into my tracker as soon as I know what I'm gonna have for dinner? Tracking things that way allows me a little bit more flexibility in the day to eat and still stay within my macros. So once I know what I'm having for dinner and I know I'm having my bulletproof coffee, I know what I have left. So I can plan the middle of my day and not have to stress at the end of the day that I don't have enough macros left for what I already planned to have for dinner. It may seem a little backwards, but I promise it's like a super saver tip. Tip number 3 is to find an app that has a scanner on it. I cannot tell you how many times I have entered a food in and it's been the wrong macros. No matter what food you're talking about, chances are there's a million different brands. Everyone has a little bit different ingredients list. Everyone will have a little bit different serving size. Everyone will have a little bit different macros breakdown. So if you have an app that has a scanning button on it, you can scan your actual items so that you know for certain that you're uploading the right thing. Number 4, don't complicate it. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. So keto, like I said, low carb, moderate protein, high fat. This is what keeps me in check with those things. Carbs are a limit. So on my app, when it says that I can have 15 grams of carbs, that is the absolute most that I can have in the day. Maybe I don't have 15, but I never go above 15. Well, I try never to go above 15. That is my limit. 15 is the limit. protein is a goal. So my app says that I should have 93, I think, grams of protein in a day. That's my goal, is to get to 93 grams of protein. Sometimes I'm less than that. Sometimes I'm a little bit more than that. As long as it's around that number, I'm okay with it. Fat is about 70%, and I should have about 100 grams of fat in a day. Fat is only there to make sure that I'm satiated. So if I don't get to my allotted grams of fat, but I don't feel hungry and I feel okay, that's totally fine. I wanna find that really easy place where I'm not hungry, my body has enough fat to run on, and I'm under my calories. So if you can keep that little phrase in mind, carbs are a limit, protein is a goal, fat is a lever. Real quick, I just want to show you guys live time how I actually go into the app and track my macros.
All right, guys, so the app that I love to use to track my macros is called Carb Manager. It's here on the bottom with the C and the M. And one of my favorite things about this app is that it will help you calculate your macros for you based on your current weight and things like that. If you don't want to use their calculations, there are tons of calculators online. You can just do a quick Google search for keto macro calculator and you'll find plenty that are free to use. But I'm going to show you real quick in the settings. It's going to ask you some things to track and you can kind of go through there. But if you go to macros and then help me calculate my goals, it's going to ask you how many pounds you want to lose in a week. I keep mine at 1 because otherwise that calorie budget drops really, really low. And I just don't do well with that low of a calorie count. And then right here underneath that little blurb there, it allows you to change what kind of diet, what kind of macro breakdown you're wanting to do. I choose the keto, which is 5% carbs, 25% protein, and 70% fat. If you're doing some sort of different type of keto, you can choose something different. You can even choose your custom, but I like doing it that way because then it does all of the work for me. I don't have to figure out like, okay, this is how many calories I have. What is 5% of that? I don't have to figure out the actual numbers. It already does it for me. So you can see based on my current weight, it's giving me about 15 grams of carbs a day, 73 grams of protein, and 91 grams of fat. So I'm going to apply that. And that just takes me back to normal. So this is what my day-to-day, my daily log looks like. I purposefully have not logged anything for today because I want to show you guys exactly how to go through the day. But it's super, super easy. And as we start to fill things in, that ring around the top will show you how close you are to your limits or / goals. So the first thing I'm going to add is my keto cream because I start my day with my yummy fat bulletproof coffee. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. You can see my keto cream is right there. And to add that, I simply went to this scan button all the way up at the top, kind of over on the right-hand side. You can click that and you can literally scan a UPC of something if you're, holding your food. And honestly, I love to use that the most because then I know exactly what I'm logging. I don't have to worry about whether the macros line up exactly the same. I just scan it and it pops right up there. So that's what I've done with my keto cream. I use 1 packet a day. I actually use half a packet, but then I have 2 cups of coffee, so it's 1 packet total. So I'm gonna add that to my breakfast. And then I'm also gonna, I'm also gonna add my coffee. And that's it. We're gonna go back to the breakdown and you can see where those rings have started to fill in. So at this point, I've had 3 grams of carbs, I've had 12 grams of fat, and 3 grams of protein. The next thing I like to do is to log any meals that I know I'm going to have. So a lot of times when I'm home, I already know what I'm gonna have for dinner. So I'll log what I have for dinner, and then that gives me a good idea of what I have for the rest of the day. And I can plan a little bit more closely according to what I know I'm gonna have for dinner with my family at the end of the day. So let's see. Let's say for tonight, I'm gonna have pork chops. I choose pork chops that are large with the bone in. I do cook them with some oil. So I'm going to add this for the pork chops. I also rub them down with olive oil before I stick them on the grill. So I'm gonna add some olive oil. Extra virgin. Yeah, that's good. I'll do 1 tablespoon. I do lemon pepper, but lemon pepper doesn't really have anything, so it doesn't really matter, but sometimes spices and herbs and things like that will have some macros, so you always just want to check. And then we're also going to do asparagus. When I log veggies, I always see how there's a lot here that says cooked with fat, cooked with boiled, cooked raw, cooked blah, blah, blah. I always just choose the one that just says the vegetable. And then like if I cook it in something else, I will add that separately. But with those other macros, like the ones that says asparagus cooked in fat, I don't know what that person used. I don't know what fat they used. I don't know how they came up with whatever it was that they put in there. So I'm just gonna use the raw asparagus. Usually I have 8 pieces. So I'm gonna add that. And then I will add some more olive oil because I usually sprinkle that on my asparagus. And that's basically it for dinner. That's what I'm gonna have for dinner, guys, is pork chops and asparagus. My guys, they might have some rice or some potatoes or some other sort of carb, but that's gonna be my dinner. So let's go back and look at what I've got left, okay? I've got quite a few of my carbs left for the day because the only place I'm getting carbs from is maybe like 1 gram from my asparagus and a few grams from my keto cream. I'm doing really, really well on my fat from the fat coffee in the morning and also from the olive oil. I don't know if you can hear my dog snoring. She's down by my feet. And I'm doing pretty well with my protein. So I'm going to look at my day. As you can see, I don't really pay too much attention to what I'm logging for which meal because it just doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna look at my day and I'm gonna say, okay, I've got quite a bit of protein left, quite a bit of fat, and quite a bit of carbs. So I think I will probably break my fast this morning with some hard-boiled eggs. Whole eggs. There we go. 1 large, but I'm probably gonna have 4. So we'll do 4 eggs. And then I'm gonna add some avocado. Probably half of that. Let's see where we're at. It's looking pretty good. And then for a snack, I might have some, maybe a piece of cheese. So I'm really close on my fat. I'm a little bit over on my protein, which is, it's okay. Protein is like a goal. So if you get 10 below or 10 above, usually that's totally fine. Carbs are a limit. So I'm definitely not gonna go over 15 grams of carbs. And then the fat is really just there to make sure that I am satiated and I'm not hungry. So this is a little bit of a high fat day. But it's okay. It's a good amount. So this is pretty much my day, guys. This is pretty much what I'm gonna have. If I don't feel hungry during the day, I may take this cheddar cheese out. Pretty much everything else is gonna stay the same though. So that is how I personally log my macros. I love seeing this little ring on the top. I love being able to see how much I have left. I love being able to see how close I am to where I'm supposed to be. And I love that this app makes it so super simple.
That's about it, guys. Tracking your macros can make a world of difference in your keto journey. It's a way of eating that you really, really have to be mindful of where your calories are coming from, and not all calories are created equal. So use a tracker as the tool that it is. If you're just getting started on your keto journey, I'm gonna put a link in the description below for my free keto community. We share recipes, tips, tricks, support, all kinds of goodies in that group. You're welcome to join. It's absolutely free. The link for that is below. I also have a free little ebook that I've created for your keto companion. You can download that in the link in the description. My name is Amanda. I'm so happy you're here. Please consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you know when I upload new content. I do so at least 3 times a week. I appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you soon.